Welcome to the Bologna Show, presented by the Chicago Sports Bums. I am Bologna, also known as Peter Fonseca, and I'm here today with a very esteemed, very special guest. It's my drunk uncle, my Theo, if you will, Beefloaf from the 108. Beef, how are we doing tonight?
Bologna, fantastic, man. It's what's nice about today, personally, for me, I had my performance evaluation at work. So all my anxieties and everything have flushed away. I know that I still have a job, miraculously. They've kept me on for another year, so it's all good. I'm ready to get with the 108ing. I'm ready to spill my guts to you tonight. We may get into some other shit. I see in the rundown or whatever. I encourage the commenters to hit us with super chats if they want us to get into some shit. I may even come up with some shit. I was telling Chorizo and MSS the other day, I've been such a good, standard guest for the last several years, but I remember when I used to be an asshole guest way back in the day, like when Sons of Anarchy invited us on, I just took over the show and said, we're not doing your fucking rundown. We're doing all these things that I want to do, whatever. I'm not going to do that to you tonight, Bologna. But if I get a little wild hair up my ass, I'll get going. We'll see.
I like it. I like the sounds of that. I like that. Congratulations on keeping your job. Always a good thing. So we could cheers to that.
That's right. Cheers.
I wanted to have you on for a lot of different reasons. Now I sound like a little bit of a broken record, but when I started the Bologna Show, Robbie Fox and My Mom's Basement was a big reason why, because of nerd stuff. You with the Au, I know a lot of people, especially a lot of people on White Sox Twitter, see the similarities, and I see I know what you guys are doing, but like you guys at Brendan Spinner, all of the first couple guests I've had are my first couple guests for a reason. So I definitely want to have you on, especially on the eve of Festivus, which seems like your guys' biggest show of the year.
It is. Yeah.
This lineup particularly is a big lineup. But before we get to that, I did want to. Now, this is not a gotcha moment, but I did not put this in the rundown, Beef.
Bring it.
I added this. I've been trying to be a good host, and I added the thumbnail. When I go on the 108, and I've been lucky enough to go on your guys' show for one of the Festivus, one of the 108 tournament, and I've been on a couple of Lawrence's hot seats. You guys,
you've been on the Au too.
Yeah, and the Au. You guys tend to do a funny picture, and I'm like, I don't know, should I get them? So I thought about this. This was gonna be the thumbnail for today. This was gonna be the thumbnail for today, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give them this yoked up picture. Then I don't know if it's CGI or what, but this is the best. I'm gonna compliment you here, and I tend to gas up my guests. This is the best you've ever looked, my man.
I was gonna say. This picture, the reason why I've kept it as my profile on Twitter is because I saw this picture and it was I think it was Kier, K-Dog, Matt Ramsey shot this picture and I was like, dude, man, look how ripped I look in that picture. I look like shit the whole rest of the day, but that shot, perfect lighting, biceps and veins, everything. I was like, fuck, this is how I want my image to indelibly be. Then when you turn on the podcast, you look at who's that fat guy with the 6 double chins and he's slurring all over the place. Yeah, more like that guy a little bit, But I wasn't actually that heavy then. I fit into that slim sputter right there. Teresa, I'll let you know, we were out eating pizza that night and I was drinking red wine. I wasn't even sweating. So that's how I was in okay shape when I had that the chainmail sweater.
I will say this picture, I mean, the Roman Reigns hair, I don't know what it is, but yeah, keep that one forever.
Gotta get back in that shape.
Before we get to the Festivus lineup, because I do want to talk Festivus, we got a $5 super chat from our guy JT Jeff. I'm looking forward to the 108 performance review tomorrow. Who's losing their job there?
Cheers. What's funny is we do come with grievances ourselves in case some guests go short. We have a couple pockets too in the show where it's we could take super chats for people who have grievances or whatever. And so I haven't come up with them yet, but I usually come up with like 3 or 4 for each of them, the fellas, but I don't usually end up getting to use them. So we'll see. Our wives will give a performance review of us as general people, which is a must see. If you're not even interested in the rest of the guests, come watch our wives just clobber us for 30 minutes in the middle of the show.
That's always the best part. I mean, the stories that they tell about you guys. I'll always remember Mrs. Beef talking about you scrolling and using her. I think Julie brings it up more than I do. She loves that story. It's hilarious.
Couldn't believe she did that to me. God damn it. I stopped the behavior. You know what it is? She put it out there because she wanted the behavior stopped, and I have stopped it. So
that's good. That's how you do things. But yeah, so tomorrow is the 108 Festivus show, and the lineup this year, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this seems like the biggest and most star-studded lineup of the last few years. So I got the list here. It's John Greenberg, Pugs Moran, Chris Lanuti, Ann Constable, Alyssa Bergamini, the Barstool Chicago guys, White Sox Dave, Eddie, and Chief, Patches O'Houlihan, better known as Sandra, friend of the Bums, Shane Reardon, the 108 Wives, Sam Paniatovich, Joe Ostrowski, Scott Lewis of 79th and Hallis, Ryan McGuffey, 2005 World Series champion Brian Anderson, Sylvie of Waddle and Sylvie fame and 1000. It's like I'm talking like that. It sounds like you guys could have done like a Lollapalooza poster of that.
And a lot of years, MSS does do stuff like that. He'll make a collage or whatever. This year he went real Christmas themed, very neutral. He does have individual images that'll be available during the show. But as far as the promotion went, we went a little light on a lot of that stuff and just kind of like put it out there. I think we felt this year like people have known the Festivus show for long enough. We're not going to push them a promotion too hard. We pushed it out there a couple different times. Treasy made a nice video that is like a monster ballad with all the names coming out. But yeah, I would say it probably is our most star-studded. And it was done that way for a reason. We kind of like decided, look, we do a lot of stuff where we have guests on the 108 podcast. The Au Jus now has become, the intent was to be guest-driven. It's been very guest-driven, and so we've stayed guest-driven. And we don't do a lot of like media types that much on either of the shows, right? We'll have like people that we like or want to interact with. On Au Jus, I want to talk stocks with people or content people or whatever. On the 108 podcast, a lot of things we're fucking around. We've got people coming off the hot seat, like when you're crying and the thing. We'll have Pat Bertoletti come on because he's the hot dog champ. Tell us about eating 20 pounds of blueberries and shitting himself. Like we kind of go in those directions. We haven't made a lot of focus of like getting some of the local media up in the show. So we're like, well, let's make Festivus now that thing where we try to funnel everyone to that spot. And some of the people are return guests, and a bunch of them that have done it before really enjoy doing it. They really like the concept. They're like, okay, good. I just come on here. I don't have to talk about my job. I don't have to talk about sports. I can just bring up any fucking thing I want, and they kind of enjoy that format.
Now, is it like building that group and like, sending out the invites? Is that a group effort, or is it like, do you guys bounce ideas like, hey, maybe we should have them on? Or is it like, who takes the reins and all that?
I mean, I would give the other guys credit, but they don't really do a lot of it. Like, it's mostly me, generally.
All right.
I'll say it's 80% me because Teresi originally had the idea of the wives. So way back when, we didn't have the wives on there. And at some point, he came up with the idea, like, we should have our wives come on here and give grievances about us. People like, because part of what we've always done is a self-deprecating humor situation where either we're telling something about ourselves that, we know we're going to get clobbered for, or the other two guys bully you during the show about shit. And so we thought, well, we bring our wives on. We're even more vulnerable. And the one rule is we can't fight back on them. We got to just let them fucking go, say whatever they're going to say. And it's worked out great. So that was his contribution there. But usually it's me stringing together a lineup, and then everyone has input. So all three of us will look at the lineup, decide if there's changes we want to make or whatever. MSS did make one change on that lineup there. So originally the slot and we have a bunch of these people are paired. Some of them are 3 at a time. So like the wives are all 3 coming on at once. Barstool Chicago will all come on at once. And then there's pairs. Some people know each other. Some people don't. We're just kind of like grouping them together. It's easier to get a lot of people in there. But I originally in the lineup had Ryan McGuffey and David Kaplan because they do the recap together.
Yeah.
And so I've had McGuffey on the Au Jus, and it's funny. Jeff Agrest ran a whole story about how that came about. I was like, I interviewed this dude 4 months ago, and he told me this entire story on this video. So I was like, oh, it's kind of cool that they're running the Sun Times now. But we originally had those two, and MSS was like, it goes, love Kaplan, but Brian Anderson will be more fun. Brian Anderson will be more wild potentially in this spot, so let's put him in there. And I thought it was a great addition. And when we sent that message, Brian Anderson answered in an instant. Like it took McGuffey a while, but BA's like, if Ryan's in, I'm in. Like that. So it was good to see.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned Ryan McGuffey because one of my only notes for the actual lineup is about the recap and how Ryan McGuffey has one of the more interesting stories in Chicago sports media of the last like couple years, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
And it's funny because you did have that au jus where you had him on, and I did read that Agrest article, and there's been a couple more things of late, you know, kind of fluffing up the recap, and rightfully so. That thing's getting crazy numbers. But yeah, I'm interested to see how he pairs with, you know, the Festivus of it all.
I think it'll be okay. I mean, like it's funny. You don't know some of these people until you have some interactions with them. Like a lot of the way we get these guests is it's not that we've built long-standing relationships with them. It's that we have a reputational edge because we've been doing Sox stuff for a long time. We're kind of known for doing Sox things, and like we have little touch points, right? The hot tub thing is a touch point. 108 Tourney is a touch point that people like interact with or whatever. So when he was in 108 Tourney last year, he totally fucking embraced it. A lot of times people in those positions, either media or what we'll call quasi-media or wannabe media people, they're very standoffish about that because they don't want to like kind of jump in the deep end and have fun with the rest of the people. It just is what it is. Comes with the territory. A lot of these people you meet are like that. They're stuffy shirts. We wouldn't want to hang out with these people normally. But Guff did the exact opposite. He jumped in and he was making videos from his fucking hot tub and having fun with it. I was like, well, you could tell this guy's an entrepreneur. You could tell this guy fucking built his own goddamn brand because he's like, yeah, I'll get in here. I don't know if he had intentions of winning, but he wanted to be entertaining and he wanted to get out there with the people, which was cool.
Now, I talked to you a little bit pre-show about me now doing the Bologna show, kind of learning that like, oh, you kind of have to shoot your shot when it comes to asking guests. And I'm still figuring my way around that. But at this point, have you gotten, I don't know if it's confidence or is it like, is there still a trepidation when you're asking these people? Or you're like, you know what, I'm going to cast a wide net and see what happens?
Not anymore. There used to be big trepidation. And I started getting over it when we started landing a few people that was like crazy. So like for me, like a real big guest for me when I'm first starting out the au jus was getting Tom Fornelli, right? Tom Fornelli is a Chicago guy. He had his own blog. He fucking built that up into a real fucking media career. And he's a big talking voice on CBS Sports about college football, like a real fucking dude. And he's doing a podcast with, that's huge. And he was a Sox fan at the time. He's since renounced his Sox fandom. But when I reached out to him, and he knows us a little bit, he did a print interview for us, and we have interacted a bunch on Twitter with Sox stuff. I know he likes 108 shit, and he's gone back and forth with Treasy and I had a bunch of stuff. But that doesn't mean he's going to come on my dumb show that barely exists. And so when he was like, yeah, and he snap called and he was like, and I was like, oh, maybe we got a little more reach than we thought. Maybe there are people who would be interested in talking to us or whatever. And so I had him on a few times. I mean, obviously Jeff Passan's like kind of the big one. And I know you have a question later on, like, has anyone flat out told you no for Festivus? The only one who has is Passan. And I'll tell you the story. So Passan, we start having a little relationship, if you will, with Passan on the internet, on Twitter. It actually started way back. He blocked me a long time ago. There's a blog about this on FromTheWhite.com, so I won't bore everyone with the full details. He blocks me. Someone who knows him, who liked the 108 a lot, reached out to me directly and said, I reached out to him. I know him personally. I told him what good guys you are. I told him to unblock you. He goes, and the guy reached out to me and goes, do not mention this on Twitter. Don't mention that I fucking did this for you. But, I was like, oh, thank you, whatever. And he unblocked me and he reached out and he said, oh, sorry about the block. He goes, I always just wanted to block a guy whose name was Beefloaf, right? So then that was when he started like busting my balls. And like, there's the picture of me in the pants where I got the reverse camel toe looking thing going on. And he just bodies me. And that was like an overnight, like he gave me shit because I woke up in the morning and my wife's already up and she's like, oh my God, they're killing you on the internet right now. And I'm thinking, what the hell for? And I'm looking at like that fucking picture. So with him, it was just like, the boys were like, reach out, man, have some balls. Like we could get him on the show. Our thought was he won't want to spend much time with us. So we'll put him on the Festivus for 10 minutes and asked him if he wants to come on. And he responded and he was like, I would happily come on and join you guys and be part of it, but not this thing because a bunch of other people are on there. If someone says some shit on here, I can't control it. And then there's like, oh, Jeff Passan was part of this. He goes, but if you want to have me on your regular podcast, I'll gladly come on. And I was like, oh my God, yes, this would be much better, right? It's like just a direct fucking interview with this guy. Like, so like there was that level of getting someone and getting over the hump and feeling like, okay, I'm not worried about this anymore. I mean, I had Joe Sheehan from the Joe Sheehan newsletter. Now I'm a long subscriber of the Joe Sheehan newsletter. And I was like felt a little weird because I don't have an internet relationship with him really. It was more like, I'm just going to reach out and plead my case. Like, I'm a suffering Sox fan, a long-time newsletter, blah, blah, blah. And he couldn't have been fucking nicer. And jumped on the show, did 45 fucking minutes with me, no problem. And so once we started having some successes, then now I'm at the point where I don't have much apprehension about asking someone to come on. Now, a lot of times we get ghosted. Like, that, people never fucking respond if you want to reach out. So I've reached out to Kylie McDaniel 3 times, telling that I know Jeff, and he never fucking responded to me. We reached out multiple times to a former White Sox play-by-play guy who I won't name specifically, but who our mutuals on Twitter to do Festivus. He's never responded back on that. He'll respond to other stuff, but not for that. So I don't know if he gets paid for appearances or what. But he no interest. So there is like a level of, okay, well, some people just aren't going to give a shit. But for the most part, a lot of these people, when we have reached out to them, they're excited, happy to come on and it's which is kind of cool. Like, they're like, oh my God, yeah, this sounds great. I would love to do this. And it's like, that's kind of a cool response instead of, oh, okay, I'll just do your thing. And you find out some people are really cool. And so that's it gives you a little more confidence when you get going.
Now, is there still, like, now you've been doing this for a good amount of time now, is there still do you have like a white whale or a couple people that, like, you know what, eventually we're gonna get them?
I don't think so at this point.
No.
So I was trying to think about this. I was trying to think, like, who would we want? Like, if I was just thinking about Festivus only, like, who would be hilarious to have in Festivus? Like, I think as a group, we'd like to have Daniel Palka on at some point. We obviously had old interactions with Palka. Now, obviously, he's not in the majors anymore, kind of washed out. We used to follow each other on all socials, but I think his wife probably figured out we're liberal snowflakes, so it made him unfollow us. But he'll interact. Like, if we reach out, he'll respond. Still follow his brother and shit. So cool, very cool stuff. But him, maybe I'm realizing, like, I'm mutuals with Baby Gronk. You know who Baby Gronk is? I was like, it would be funny to have Baby Gronk on the Festivus one year. It's obviously not going to be this year, but something like that. And you know what else would be really interesting? I don't know if he'd be willing to tell the full story. And we've had him on other content. I love talking baseball with him. He's one of the smartest baseball guys in the city. But if Barstow Carl would love to come on and tell his side of the breakup story, now that would be like an awesome Festivus closer, like for them. But I don't think I'm at the point where, and I can't. I guess I'll speak for the boys a little bit. I think we just like want to make a fun and good show that we like. And it's like, and so we're like, okay, yeah, if we got a real famous, I mean, we've had Passan on. I feel like that's as famous as we could possibly get. We're not going to get anyone bigger or better or whatever than that. So let's just have fun with it. And if someone like strikes a chord with us and we think they're funny and shit, we'll try to get them. And sometimes we'll say yes. It'll be nice.
Do you think, like, if you were to have Carl on to tell his side of the story, do you think you guys have a good relationship with the Barstool Chicago guys? We do too. I mean, yeah. Dave's a good friend of everyone. But do you think that would rub the wrong way, or maybe cross some wires that maybe you shouldn't?
I don't know. Like, when we first
kind of don't worry about that.
It's a good question. When we first had Carl on, I had him on the Au Jus. I just wanted to like talk to him about doing content and stuff like that. And I did think about that. And I asked the boys, I'm like, what do you think? Should I reach out to the Dave and Eddie and them guys? And they're like, no. They don't. His thought was they wouldn't care, And so we've had him on, and then we had him on the main show talking Cubs stuff or whatever. And it's never come up. There's never been a hey, what the fuck, and that's cool. Them. If I thought it was going to cross the line, or if they had said something, I would definitely not do it. Obviously, I value their friendships. I really like them guys a lot. But I just think it'd be interesting to hear. I've heard, or you've kind of heard parts of the other side of the story, but you haven't really heard like his perspective of it. And not that I even fucking believe any side of it. It's just more like you like to hear perspectives of stories. It's interesting to hear how did that person view that thing, and so that could be interesting.
No, I mean, definitely could be. It would be interesting to see, what he says about everything. All right, before we move on to Festivus, I did have obviously tomorrow is going to be exciting. I'll be in the comments. I'm sure a lot of people in the comments will be. Do you have any fond memories of Festivus Pass, or a couple man, this was the peak of this year or that year?
I have tons. I wrote down. I went back through to look at the lineups and everything and the little segments or whatever. So I gotta go all the way back to the beginning. We first started doing it before it was on YouTube. Shout out to NWI Steve, because he was one of the people that we worked with to put this together. We talked about this on a recent Fart Walk. We do this little piece of content called Fart Walks, where we give lore and gossip and shit, and they self-destruct in 24 hours because, as I was telling them, they're so self-indulgent. I feel like a loser leaving them out there forever. So let's throw them and then we'll crush them. But anyway, Steve helped us put it together back in 2000. So this is in the old days, the first year that we had it online. So obviously everyone's indoors. This was an era of the Festivus show when we would let the guests stay on and we'd Brady bunch the shit, even if it's not your segment. So you could mute yourself or, check in the middle and get in the conversation if you wanted to. And so we had fan since 1962 who's been banished from Sox Twitter. He's been he's canceled. Too much talking dildos and young ladies comments to stick around. He came on. He's blitzed out of his goddamn mind. His house is dark, but he has Christmas lights all over him. He mistakes Herb Lawrence, who is still in one of the Brady Bunch squares, for Spice Adams. He's going crazy. Eddie Barstool is dying laughing. White Sox Dave, Zoe, fucking Herbie, they all stuck around because they're curious too. They're like, what the fuck's going to happen there? He was a total maniac, and it was just I don't know what that was, but I really enjoyed it. And it was like, man, we got something with this fucking Festivus thing. The wives are terrific every year. They're a highlight of the show. MSS trying to do ad reads in the third hour. I listened to a few of those over different years, and it's so funny. He's slurring his ass off at the end of these shows. It's like, man, good thing this is the sixth ad read of the show. No problem there. In 2022, we had Jimmy Vanicki coming on and doing a long form poem to start the show. It was like the intro to the show. He did a poem. He mentioned a bunch of people from Sox Twitter. Back-to-back years, Missy Carroll had possibly the best performance in the shows. In 2022, she tore apart MSS's TikToks. And then in 2023, that's hilarious, right? In 2023, she went to his old blog and just absolutely slaughtered his tweets and his advertisements for his old blog. That was very funny, too. In 2022, also, I thought, it's a good idea. We're going to bring on Summer George and Brian Knights. They're the last two 108 tourney champs. Will have them come on together. And Summer George took the assignment. He had a bunch of grievances. Then he started breaking bad on Brian Knights, and Knights had no idea what was going on. He had no chance of coming back on him. It was like one of my absolute favorite segments. That was another year where we had Unprotected Sox close the show. We built up this thing that we asked a bunch of people, and then we ended up having to land on him. He was like our sixth choice or whatever. He's always good. I actually thought about reaching out to him this time and having him log on right when we're logging off and put him in the square right at the end, and then we'll close. I don't know. It's a waste of his time at 11 o'clock at night, so I probably won't do it. 2023, Vino and Billy Wires was total maniac. Oh my God, Vino talking about players' buttholes, and it was crazy shit, man. He was so good the one year. 2023, we also had, that was the first time we had a real big closer. We had Danny Parkins on. And Danny Parkins, let me tell you something. Danny Parkins, and Shane Reardon told us this was going to happen. He said, Danny will show up. Whatever time you tell him to show up, he's going to be there 15 minutes early. And I'm like, Shane, he could see the live stream going on. It's not his time yet, right? And it's like, doesn't matter. He was in the box 15. So he's like, you don't have him in there yet?
Yeah, you could see him.
And you get a little nervous because you're like, fuck, man, I want to make Danny Parkins wait. What the hell's going on or whatever. Came on, and he was he stayed for a long time, stayed for 40 minutes. He encouraged me to get into sparring matches with local media if I thought they were wrong. Specifically at that point, it was Lawrence Holmes. So I did follow through on that for him. So thank you, Danny. I appreciate the advice, my friend. Well, it went very well. 2024 was an interesting year too, because we had Pat Bertoletti, the hot dog champ. So it's cool to have like Nathan's hot dog champ is on our thing. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And Treasy's got the relationship there. He's a guy who reaches out to him. Like, I don't know how to contact Pat Bertoletti, but Treasy knows how to get a hold of Pat Bertoletti. That was the year we had John Schriffen as our closer. And Schriff was, you remember this, Bologna? Schriff was in all shit with the whole media. He was doing no media at all. Like, no, he was on nothing, absolutely nothing. And we reached out and he's like, I got 2 basketball games, but I'll try to do it. I'll get back to my hotel and do it. And he's doing it from a hotel and God knows where the fuck. And just like, and giving us a half hour or whatever. So that was super cool. And then obviously I gotta give a shout out to Sammy Davis Jr. 5K and Huck, because they caused so much goddamn controversy in that show. And it just kind of, it really kind of spiked the ball on. And I didn't know what they were going to talk about, Bologna, but I always thought that there was room for stuff like that, like gossipy stuff in the Festivus. I still think there is, but obviously we won't have much of it this year, at least not on Sox Twitter, because there's not a Sox Twitter contingent on there. So yeah, a lot of highlights over the years, a lot of things that I was like, oh, that was cool that, that kind of occurred, or that guest came on, or that they gave us this time. And, and some of them didn't even dive in on the grievances, like Danny Parkins was giving us advice, John Schriffen was talking about being more zen and present and in the moment. I was like, that's okay. Those are cool interactions. I'm glad I got a chance to be a part of.
Yeah, you kind of wish Shrift Dog would go in a little bit on maybe 670 to score or someone else, but he took the high road,
the high road. Yeah, yeah, I respect it.
Yeah. Well, besides Festivus, you guys, I mean, it's a busy winter for you guys. You guys got Sox Fest Live on the heels of, you guys got 108 Live on the heels of Sox Fest Live, and I've been a part of a couple of the last couple 108 Day Lives. Both when there was no Sox Fest, you guys were the only show in town, and then last year Sox Fest comes back and you guys do it there. Do you see is there a pros and cons to being like the only show in town and you guys do it closer to December or January 8th or around that day, or is it better now with Sox Fest back and you guys are almost like the closer of that festivity?
I think it's better. I think in theory it's better now when Sox Fest is back. And the reason why is because Sox Fest is going to bring a bunch of people there, specifically Sox people, right? So last year, if you went to our event, our after show, after party, whatever you want to call it, and you're just like, maybe you're just even a casual 108 fan. When you walk through the door, though, you got a chance to mingle with our guests that we were having on there. So we had Scott Merkin, and we had White Sox Dave, and we had Herb Lawrence. You got a chance to mingle with Sox people because John Schriffen showed up there, Brooks Boyer, Mike Downey, a bunch of the, that crew was there. And then Sox Twitter, a lot of Sox Twitter people. And so like there's a party element to it. And I think it's a little bit better if we can draw some of those people. Like I especially invited like Julie Swyka last year to come, her and her husband. I was like, I'd love you to come down and, you can mingle with some of these people that a lot of people would like to probably meet Julie Swyka because she was on the radio and everything. And so like, I think for the party atmosphere of it, it's better to have Sox Fest, but there is also the like overlapping of like Sox Fest will still be going on. Our doors will be open and there'll be kind of some of that stuff. So there could be a late arriving crowd. It's okay. I mean, I think it's better to have it going on all together.
Now, something that we've realized this, and I could talk to Jason, Johnny, and Dougie and everyone about it, like on a much smaller scale, but like whenever we do a watch party, when we used to do them at Jack's place, or even now at the Ramova, the element of building a live show as opposed to just a watch party is a different animal. And I feel like we've stopped doing them all completely because I feel like a lot of the times people want to show up, drink, mingle, and kind of just talk to each other. How do you build a live show to where you keep it, because it's entertaining, right? You guys have on there sometimes it's White Sox Dave talking about his hair, or you have Herb Lawrence up there, but it's always a good time and it captivates the crowd, where a lot of people, that's where I think a lot of people wouldn't be able to. So how do you find like the ups and downs of like building a live show? Because it's completely different than building Festivus or a podcast or anything like that.
I mean, wildly different, Bologna. And like, I was thinking about this question because it's a really good one. We've done a lot of live shows at this point where we're on the mics, we're outside somewhere in a bar or whatever, and they vary wildly. So like, there was a point in which we had Goose Island was our sponsor, and they were just paying us like a stipend to go out to bars on the South Side and perform effectively. Go out there, we had to drag our own fucking gear, our own PA set up, do an hour. You do an hour at these places, and yeah, we would drag some of our people in there, but also you'd have like random women just like playing slots in the background. It's like there's half these people that are like, wish we'd shut the fuck up. And so like we kind of would try to build the thing so that we could get a quick laugh, a cheap laugh, or a hook to maybe try to get the people to come in a little bit. Maybe try to involve the audience a tiny bit, or at least something that they might get as a joke there. But it took time for us to like build up a rapport where we could kind of do it. I think it also helps that we've been podcasting together for 8 years. And we used to do these really fucking long shows in the old days. We still bring them back occasionally, like 3-hour show. And so you get a lot of reps with the three of us. So we can float off of each other nicely. And I'll say we're cautious about who we have as our guests for these things, as people we think that we can also do that with. So we have Dave Williams a lot because we know we can flow with Dave Williams. We've done a lot of work with him. I'm comfortable that he'll take the bait and we'll go running around some corners. But yeah, it is difficult to like keep everyone engaged because they are there to party. And a lot of times they've been drinking for 2 hours before you go on stage. It's not like, oh yeah, this is the first thing they're getting or whatever. No, they're lubed up already. So like the potential to not pay attention is big. Now it's different when you have like an actual venue. So like if you're at some place where they're doing the sound for you and doing effects for you and all that stuff, then it's like a lot contingent on the quality of all that work, right? If the sound at Reggie's, terrific. So not very hard for us to grab the audience, right? Because it's pouring in there on you like it's supposed to be at a rock concert or some shit like that. So it's a little bit easier. If you go to certain places and the sound isn't kind of up to par. We did one a long time ago at before we had our own PA system at Wings and Rings, and they had a little mini sound system, or whatever, and it sounded like shit, and people couldn't hear us that good. And when you can't hear you that good, they're gonna zone out right away. And so, like, I think the quality of that stuff matters a lot. But yeah, you want to get some laughs in there. You want to get some noticeable topics, something that people are interested in. If you can get the audience to yell back at you, great. That's even better. Like, get them something where they want to hurl some comments at you. Yeah, just any interaction you can get. And our rule, if we're doing it just the three of us, no more than 45 minutes. If we have guests, we're snapping them within 15 minutes. We don't want to, nothing too long or stale. Move on to the next goddamn thing.
Now, I do like, and I'll give you guys credit, I like the shift from the upstairs Reggie room to the big rock room. I thought that was awesome for last year. What I didn't know, and now maybe you guys have done us a bunch of solids, so now I kind of want to repay the favor. I didn't know that there's a bar minimum in the big rock room. So if you guys are watching, we got to spend some money to stay in that room. So
appreciate you. Yes. Yeah. So when we did the little room, Bologna, the minimum was only like $2,000. Okay. 125 of the White Sox Twitter crowd is going to crush a $2,000 minimum. It's not even close. And there were years we were doubling it. Right. And so then last year, the minimum was much higher. And so we got to the end of the night and they're like, oh, you're such and such short. And I started buying shots. Just trying to eat away at it. So yeah, those big rooms have a minimum, and that's why we were encouraging, because we were realizing too, a lot of the people will show up to the bar there before doors and are drinking in the regular bar. And it's like, well, we don't get credit for those beers. We only get credit for the shit that you drink in this room. So we decided to open the doors early this year. 7:30 they open. So if you're coming early, come into the big room, hang out with us, have 6 beers there, and that goes on the tab to say that we hit the bar minimum, because if they're giving us all these other services, they obviously got to make their money, and their money is in that stuff in the bar.
I'm an ideas guy. I got to figure, make this a challenge for us. The 108ers like to drink. You got to make it like a telethon. Just tell us the minimum, and we'll get there.
Put the poster up there and have them color it in as we go.
Yeah, I want to beat by 9:30 in the evening.
I love that idea. We'll have to reach out to Reggie's to get them to set that up. I think that would be great.
Yeah, Joey P will be there. Joey P will help with that.
Well, yeah, different animal. You're right. I mean, like, and we've done watch parties too, and you guys have great success with your watch parties. You get a lot of people in the room. You get a lot of excitement going on. It's like they are different animals, and I find the watch party part tougher, because I feel like it's tough to get in there and mingle with all the people I feel like I'm supposed to mingle with. Whereas if we're just doing a performance, we do our hour or whatever. Okay, you're kind of off the clock, and I still go in there and try to talk to everyone, but it feels like less pressure than it does for a watch party.
Yeah, I think the watch parties has helped, especially of late. Shout out to everyone at the remote. It helps that the Bears are good this year. I think that's the main reason where it's like, oh yeah, we can keep doing these. The Bears keep winning, and hopefully, I'm knocking on wood, they win a couple more games. But I was like, yeah, there was a couple watch parties back when we were doing them at Jack's. We might have done like 5 in a row between Blackhawks, Bears, White Sox. None of them won. So it's like we keep asking people to show up to these games, and it's just like a funeral every time.
They're winning too, but they're winning in fun ways, though. Yeah. Bologna, that's what it is too. Like these last second comebacks and shit, and it's like exciting ass games, top to bottom. Really got it. I mean, like, yeah, just watching them at home is like amazing. I couldn't imagine a room full of people is awesome.
Yeah. All right. I got a couple more from the 108 questions. Obviously, you see it back here. I like a weatherman over here. The bobblehead. I mean, you guys have done a lot. I know, like, you guys have done commercials for the White Sox and a bunch of different things with the White Sox. But like, I feel like is this peak 108 right now? Like, where do you go from here? Is basically my question.
Probably. I mean, we would have thought doing the commercial for the track jackets a couple years ago was like, wow, well, who gets to do a commercial with the White Sox? And I remember Matt Zawaski reaching out to me. He goes, "This would have never happened years ago. Like, you guys are opening the door so other people do it." And you guys had a commercial for the softball event too. So it's good that the Sox are embracing a little more of this. And like, at the end of the year, they had some of the groups come down and do some interviews and get access to some players. So it seems like it's turning. But yeah, when we did that thing, we were like, oh fuck, they're not going to do anything else like this. And the bobblehead's been a MSS brainchild for like 5 years, and every year Teresa and I just like pat him on the shoulder. Oh yeah, no, maybe next year they'll do it. Never thinking this will ever actually fucking get done. And even we had proofs in our hands. I was like, nah, they're never going to get across the line. But when we did the promo out of the hot tub, and we filmed on a real fucking cold day and everything, and we weren't there to see it because we were doing our live show. We were kind of getting ready for it. We weren't there at that part of the night on Saturday when they aired it. We heard got a great response, and we saw some shit on Twitter. And then we talked to Mike Downey later. He's like, that piece, them putting that out there on socials did better than everything else at Sox Fest except for Mark Burley stuff. And we were like, holy shit, like the fan base is in tune with the fan base. We love each other as a message here. So that was when the bobblehead was a go. That was like, okay, we're going to actually do it. And I think, that for me that night was a lot of fun just because it was nice to have everyone together. It was nice to see a lot. And I saw a lot of old faces I hadn't seen in a while. And I wish there was just like a White Sox Twitter reunion night once a year, something like that, where we could get everyone back in the spot. It was cool being on the field. And it was cool, Teresa throwing out the first pitch and our family's getting to come down there and all that. And it was cool signing the bobbles. But it was mostly cool as like, oh, shit, I haven't seen it. My 8th grade teacher came to that thing and fucking was like, oh, man, I'm so proud of you. It was like, it was crazy shit just to see all these old, pieces of your life.
It was a great day. I was excited for you guys. I told a story to you guys. I haven't told it in public, but my best man at my wedding, my best friend, white boy Rick, he works for Slalom Consulting. They had a private party the same day as the 108 event, the bobblehead day. So he's there like in his work polo with a bunch of his work buddies, and then like me and Johnny and everyone show up with your face on the bobblehead and stuff like that. He's like, how did you guys get in here? Because it was like a private event. I'm like, motherfucker, this is not you.
That's their event. No, this is our event. Fuck you guys. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. It was funny, like running into people. It's like, oh, you came to this? Like, there were a lot of people who came through us. Like, man, I haven't seen you in so long. You came for this bobblehead, like crazy shit. So very, very fun. I don't know if it's a peak though, Peter. MSS and I were talking about it like 3 weeks before, and he was like, yeah, this is probably the biggest accomplishment we will ever have. He goes, or something else is coming along we don't even know about. I was like, we still like doing this, so let's just keep doing it. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
And so that was going to be like one of my last 108 questions is like, a lot of the times, especially like I've talked about how you guys foster growth, not only for yourself, but the entire community, right? It's like whatever the quote is, the rising tide or ship and everything. But a lot of the times it's like, maybe you don't, at least for us, like we don't rest on our laurels. Just put your head down and keep working, right? Like, do you guys is that like something like? How long do you foresee yourself doing this? Because we are all getting older. Sometimes it's like I got a 4 and an 8-year-old, and it's like I don't know how many more tailgates I'm going to be doing, but they keep growing and they keep getting more successful. And it's like, you know, when you just put your head down and do a couple more. But like, is it something like you don't see it? Do you not see a finish line? It's like we're just going to keep doing it until the wheels fall off.
Yeah, I honestly don't. I thought about this. Someone asked us, who's going to replace you guys? Like someone had made mention. I was like, no one's going to replace them. What do you mean who's going to replace us? Like, I've always thought about it this way. Like we start our annual meeting, and I know you guys do some similar stuff too, where you have like meetings where you kind of discuss, you know, long-term planning and shit.
Yeah.
So we do like an annual meeting, and I start the annual meeting every year with, do we still want to be doing this? And every year it's a resounding fucking yes. And I think the answer to the question is, Bologna, is like, as long as you still enjoy making content, as long as you still enjoy doing all that shit, like there are markers of like success, like, oh yeah, Lawrence pays us for ad reads or whatever. But that stuff's important for the outside people to see, oh yeah, this is a real thing. But for us, the most gratification we get is like when we're done with the show, we're like, yeah, that was a good show. We did good tonight. Yeah. And there's nights where you don't do good. You obviously know that too. You have some shows where you're like, fuck, we fucking killed it tonight. We were awesome. And other shows you're like, we could have done this better. We could have done that better. But it's all, to me, is always like, if we're still enjoying making it, if we're still making each other laugh our asses off in the live streams, I mean, there's absolutely no reason to stop. And the whole reason we ever even started doing any of this was just sort of like, we felt that the thing that we wanted wasn't there. We'll make it because it's not there. And so we're going to continue doing that because it wasn't there. We created the category that we do our thing where it's kind of socks and fun and the mixture. And I'm not trying to sound like a braggart, but I think we do a good job analyzing the team in a way that's competitive with people who just analyze the team. I think we do a good job of having fun and doing, I don't want to call it comedy because we're not comedians, but it's fun stuff as people who do the fun stuff, you know? And so I feel like we do a good job, and I like it. I feel it's continuing. I enjoy what we're doing. And so until we're not anymore, that'll be when we stop. But I mean, I'm kind of the opposite of you, Bologna. My daughter is already in high school. She's going to go away to college. What else am I going to do then? I'm going to have, I'll be empty nester soon enough. Nester, yeah. And, Mrs. Beef and I, besides, going to Vegas and gambling, what else are we going to fucking do? So I'll stick with it.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. We always say, we tell each other, and it's something Johnny, Jason, and I, and now Dougie, and Joey P, and everybody, but like, until it feels like work, we're going to keep doing it. I never want it to actually feel like work. We all have tough jobs, or like we have to deal with our own stuff. Yeah. Like, as long as it doesn't feel like work, just keep the wheels moving.
Yeah. And there's going to be days where it does feel like it. There's going to be days where you're getting ready to do the podcast and you're like, fuck, I'm tired right now. I don't feel like there are days where we're coming into the podcast and I can tell, either I don't have a lot of stuff I want to say, get off my, or the other guys don't, or whatever, or we feel like this is not just and there's other days where like, we can't wait to scream for 3 hours into these mics because we have so much shit to say about a lot of different things. And so it ebbs and flows, but as long as you're still loving it, as long as you're still doing it, like I found myself recently, I woke up a month ago just excited to start writing more blogs again. I've written a bunch of blogs recently and put them out there. And I did Locked On Socks last night. It debuted today with Todd Welter. He grabbed like 3 of my blogs. We broke down pieces of them. We talked about it. I was like, yeah, I'm feeling good getting my ideas out there into the ether. And that's what it's all about. Like, I just want to share ideas and just want to, and share my thoughts with people.
Nah, I love it. I mean, people are receptive to it. So keep
for now, we'll see. Yeah. Well, it used to be more. Some people, not so much anymore.
Well, all right.
What happens?
You didn't mention you do a good job analyzing the actual White Sox start of it. But there is some White Sox news. I feel like for the longest time we kept joking, at least on the Bumcast, we joked that the Bears were back-to-back off-season champs. Now, I'm not talking about free agent signings, but the White Sox are winning this offseason right now.
Oh, yeah.
The number 1 draft pick. Is it safe to say it's Rock Chalowski season on the South Side? Or
I mean, it is right now. I mean, here's what happens for now. Rock Chalowski is like considered the far and away guy. Well, not far and away, but the number 1 with a bullet kind of guy currently. But what happens is then you have to play another college baseball season, and shit can happen in that time. And the guy who's like number 2 with a bullet, kind of right behind him, is Grady Emerson. Now, he's a high school shortstop. And so it's less likely that the high school guy's stock drops a lot because usually they'll just pummel their competition. The tools that everyone saw are still going to be available. And so they're less likely to fall. Whereas the college guy, shit happens sometimes. But I would say right now, you're in a very good spot where both of those guys, I mean, I was reading up somewhere, and I forget what like renowned prospect person, it might have been Kylie McDaniel, was putting like Troy Tulowitzki comps on.
Yeah, I saw that comp everywhere.
It's like, my God, like you get, or like Dansby Swanson, it's like, you draft either one of those guys, that's a real big difference maker on the south side. That's like elite defense, power, like all the stuff that you wish you could have. And I know we got Colson there. That's fine. He can move right over to third. We'll have both them guys right next to each other. It'd be beautiful. But yeah, absolutely excellent news. And excellent news from the standpoint of in the draft, it's not only important the draft position, but it's your draft pool, how much money you can spend. And so getting that first pick pops up how much the White Sox can spend. So the draft that spot is worth 11.3 million roughly. That's the estimate it's supposed to be. The highest anyone's ever signed for in the first round is 9.3 million. So even if they sign the no doubt 1-1 guy, he's not getting all 11.3 million of that. They're going to take some of that savings and they'll use it later on in the draft. And what happens is in round 2 and round 3, a lot of these high school kids that maybe are like of a mid-first round quality that a team does not want to spend over slot on them and there. They want to get a more sure thing that's going to come to their team. They may hang around and say, look, if you meet my price, if you pay me instead of the slot that's $2 million, give me $4 million, I will sign with your team. And so you start making deals with these guys. And so you end up effectively getting 2 first-round picks when you can do things like this. The White Sox did that with Caleb Bonham, who has been shot out of a cannon. There's people who think he's the number 1 prospect now and the remaining White Sox farm right now isn't that strong. I mean, you graduate a lot of guys. But regardless, there's the opportunity here to really pump up this farm system. And I was on the Future Sox podcast, and I was talking to Ian and James about this. It's like, they need it. They needed to get that lottery ball won because the farm is weak enough where I don't think they have the core ready at the major league level. I think a lot of people are up in arms right now. They're not signing free agents, whatever. I think Getz and them are rightly still in the accumulation mode. You can sign free agents. I want to be against that, and you put people on the field. But this isn't you sign a couple of league average players, and this is an 85-win team. We're not there yet. We gotta see one more year of this. See some regressions, see who pops up a little bit, and figure out where everything's at. We have a lot of little unsettled stuff. There's not even half of a starting rotation there that I consider as real and live yet. So there's a little ways to go to get to that. And so having the resources of 1-1 in that upcoming draft is enormous to backfill that farm system, especially because they haven't been active enough in the international markets, which they're still kind of getting their footing after uprooting Marco Patti.
Yeah, and now today, like the White Sox have had success in the past with Shane Smith and Mike Vassell. The Rule 5 draft was today, and they went out 2nd pick overall, Jetixon Paez from Boston. And then in the 2nd round, Alexander Alberto, who we talked about a little pre-show, 6'8" guy that throws 100 miles an hour. Give me your thoughts. I know we talked a little bit about it, but tell the people what we.
Yeah, I was trying. A lot of people were like, "Wait, they're going with that guy? That guy has only made it to A-ball. This guy's only made it to A-ball. What's going on?" And we were talking about this before the show. Teresi and I sometimes will have backyard discussions by my fire pit where we're absolutely hammered. And one of the ones we've had in the past is the Rule 5 draft should just go for the highest volatility player, the biggest boomer bust options that you could possibly find. Like, get your biggest upside guys, grab those guys. Most of the time, the Rule 5 guys wash out. What happened last year with Shane Smith and Mike Vassell is like a once in 20 years occurrence that you get even one player that good, let alone 2 players that good. So they really shot the moon last year. Should they just really gamble on upside? And I watched Sean Anderson on THGO, and he had Gene Watson on, and it sounded from the way Gene was talking like their thought was these are their best upside plays from what they could see out there, what they liked in the pool. And I like that approach. Maybe both these guys become nothing, but at least take a shot here. And with the big boy, the 6'8" guy, the White Sox don't have those guys in the minors right now. The bullpen arms. People are getting all salty about Peyton Paulette leaving. He threw 96. Who cares? This guy throws 100 and a 100-mile-an-hour cutter. Like, that's Emmanuel Clase type shit. Now, I don't know if he can control it. He's only pitched in high A, so this is like a super long shot to make it, but take more of those shots. Give me them big boys that throw real hard, and let's see if we can make one of them a bullpen guy instead of just like trying to take the median, weakest, like, lowest minimum dose or whatever.
Yeah. And I know like the Gene Watson on CHGO mentioned Jedison Paya is 21 years old. He compared him to a junior in college, saying like he could have been like a junior in college, but now he's there. And like there's pretty big upside to that. And I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, he said it would be like a second or third round pick.
Yeah,
kind of that you're able to pluck right here. And it's like that's a good way to kind of think about it if that is the approach. And it will be interesting to see how they manage the roster to try to keep them both, if they both make it all the way to like even opening day, how they try to manage them. Because I don't think either one of them are kind of at the point where you feel like they're going to go over 60 innings out of the bullpen. Like I know, one of them had an injury, was only a calf injury, so it wasn't an arm, but like, I don't know how stretched out they are to like deliver a lot of innings. So it'll be interesting to see how they juggle it.
All right, Beef. Before I let you go, I've been doing this with all of my guests. It's kind of like a rapid fire. It's typically
beautiful.
I did it with Brandon Spinner. It was whiskey themed. With Robbie, it was more Barstool themed. For you, it's more White Sox Twitter themed of a rapid fire question and answer segment.
Yes.
So first one is, who's someone that deserves more shine?
Who's someone that deserves more shine? It's talking strictly about White Sox. I'll say Alex Rude or BZ Bezic. Those guys. There's a guy like Sean Sullivan who I'm too stupid to fully absorb all the good stuff he's doing right now. Like I realized I'm like thinking about him the other day. I was like, I really love him on the Azure, but I'm too dumb to figure out like everything. So I need to study. Then I can study up on his shit, and then I can have him on the Azure. But like, there's guys like that who, deserve a ton more shine. They know a ton about baseball.
I love that answer. That goes back to our answer about that sounds like work. If I have to study, if I have to start studying,
that's too much.
you keep Sean Sullivan for your guys' show. All right. Who's a sneaky White Sox Twitter follow? Sneaky funny White Sox Twitter follow.
Sneaky funny White Sox Twitter follow. That's a good one. I mean, there's so many people that are just like, I'll say Liam Menus. I don't know if you know who Liam Menus is. Liam Menus is hilarious. Timothy Maher is hilarious. So those are two like really funny people on Twitter.
Who's someone you wish you could block but can't?
Oh, great question. Who do I wish I could block but can't? Fuck, who have I almost blocked and I just decided not to? That's tough. I'll say Nick Morawski, although I like Nick when I see him in person, but he does so many tweets like mocking the White Sox all the time. He always puts a tweet of thunder anytime they do anything. It's like, this, Nick, you're really annoying me right here. So I'll say Nick Morawski.
Okay. All right. What's a White Sox Twitter rivalry you enjoy?
White Sox. Gabriel Bearstown and Matt Crawford. Easy. One of my favorites. Yeah. I mean, there's like, I love P. Knowles and Ken W.O. too. Like there's some other ones I really enjoy, but yeah, I'll say Matt Crawford and Gabriel Bearstown.
All right. This next question isn't necessarily White Sox Twitter related, but it goes back to the Festivus lineup and building that. I'm not going to ask you to call them, but who's the most famous person on your cell phone?
That's a good question, man. I don't know. My God, I do not have passing on my phone. I don't know. Herb Lawrence, Ozzie Guillen Jr. I don't have anyone real famous. I don't think I have to think about that if there's anyone more famous than that. But like nobody real. Right. Yeah, Treasy. That's Treasy. So Treasy and My Sex Summer. That's
Which one of them has more followers?
Yeah, probably Treasy. Yeah.
All right, we got a couple more. Who's someone you wish tweeted more?
Someone I wish tweeted more. Northbrook Bob. Northbrook Bob, sharp guy, knows some stuff. I wish he would tweet a little bit more.
Who's someone you wish tweeted less?
Probably me.
Our wives probably share that.
I realized over the years I built up enough people that hate me, and I was like, it's got to be because I tweet so much. And I always assumed that back in the day, 75% of the people had me muted, including Jason Benetti, because we're mutuals. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. We're mutuals. And then he read one of my tweets on the game broadcast when they were out in Oakland. Like the late night games are huge free-for-alls on the West Coast with Benetti. He just starts scrolling Twitter and reading shit and like going off on it, especially if the Sox are losing. He read one of my tweets. I'm like, What the fuck? I thought I was muted by this dude, but apparently not.
All right, last one. This is the question I have asked all three of my guests. I'm going to keep this as my anchor, basically. Mount Rushmore of White Sox tweeters.
Oh, man, that is tough. Mount Rushmore, White Sox tweeters. Who do I enjoy the most? Let's see. That is tough. I'll go. This is an incredibly hard question, especially because I'm building the 108 tourney bracket every year, and so it's like I have practice in doing this. I mean, I'll put some of my former champions in there. I'll put White Sox Dave in there. Let's see. I'll put Alex Rude. He's a fucking lunatic. I'll have him in there. I'll have Chorizo when he gives himself a chance to actually fucking tweet something. He don't tweet enough as he should. And who else? Who else really straight? I wish I had some time on this one. This one I'd really like to think. I'll put Matt Crawford. I love Matt Crawford too.
Crawford. When you're being humble, are you being humble by not putting yourself in there?
I should not be in there. I tweet too much and too much random bullshit. There's times where I will just like sit at my desk late night. I'm a little drunk and I'll just start shooting memes off like for no reason, no intent, just like boom, 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 boom. Like,
sometimes you just got to volume shoot, Steph Curry style, you know.
You just got to get it out there. Agreed.
I will find myself, especially like on a day like after snow plowing or like a long day at work where I haven't been on Twitter, and then like, you know, the kids go to bed and now I'm sitting on the chair watching a game or whatever. And then I start firing off like 5 in a row. I'm like, maybe I should have spread these out a little. Like, maybe don't do them all at once. But I'm like, who cares? Nobody cares.
I don't care. These are my thoughts. I'm going to put them on my timeline. People like them or not. I don't give a fuck.
And I'm going to bed. Beef, thank you so much. Let's remind everybody once again about tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. So tomorrow we have the Festivus show at From the 108 on YouTube. It starts at 7 p.m. sharp. We have a ton of guests. Mark Silverman's the closer, Sylvie from Sylvie and Waddle. He'll probably go on around 10:40. So this is a long show. Each segment's of roughly 20, 30 minutes, depending on how many people are on there. For some other stuff, you can catch the Oz on Monday nights, 6 p.m. on the same YouTube channel. 108 podcast, normally Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Central Time. We have a live show at Reggie's. We mentioned it earlier on January 31st. Doors at 7:30. The show will start at 9:30. Guests to be announced. The tickets can be bought at 108.ing/party. And we're selling a ton of stuff in our merch store. Coffee. We have a coffee mug now, Bologna, which I really enjoy. I have like 3 of them in my house. I drink all the time. So thanks for having me on, my friend. Appreciate it. I always love talking to you.
Of course. Reminder of the people in the comments. Bar tabs. Spend it up on
we'll get the meter there. 108 day on January 31st. Let's go, baby.
Spend it up. Thank you so much, Beef. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much to my uncle, my tío, Beefloaf. Before I let you guys go, I want to let you know what's going on next week on the Bologna Show. But I'm going to play a quick ad for self-serving our merch.
ShySportsBums.BigCartel.com is the home for all Chicago Sports Bums merch. We have Bears, Hawks, Sox, and Bums merch available. Anything you need to get ready for a big game or a Chicago Sports Bums event. Remember, all profits go directly back into our Whiskey at Comiskey tailgates to keep the beer and food free for everyone. So head over to ShySportsBums.BigCartel.com and pick up a couple Toot Tree shirts today.
Not only can you head over to ShySportsBums.BigCartel.com to pick up a shirt, but head over to Remova website. We got a watch party. We're running it back. One last watch party. Bears versus Packers revenge game. We're calling it on the big screen, in the big room, in the theater room. It's going to be awesome. You can buy your tickets at Remova.com. And the $10 ticket gets you a first free beer. If you buy a Chicago Sports Bums shirt within this next time frames, we'll buy you a beer as well. So 2 free beers. Head over. Big game. That's going to be a huge game. I'm not looking past the Browns game, but for sure, this is going to be a must win. Besides that, thank you guys once again. Next week is going to be a nerd news episode of the Bologna Show. I haven't done nerd news for 2-3 weeks. There's a rumors of a Marvel Doomsday trailer dropping tomorrow. A bunch of other nerd news stuff. I'm going to try to get Jordan, PL Dragons, on to talk a couple movies and more comic-ish centric Bologna show next week. So we'll see you guys so much. Thank you, everyone, in the comments. Thank you for the super chat. Again, thank you to my uncle Beefloaf. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you for watching Bologna Show.
Goodbye.